I do believe we are live now, according to the lights and things on my screen. So, welcome. This is the Friday night unused substitutes makeup show because we had some audio problems. You thought I was going to say make up something else, didn't you?
Yep.
I thought I was, at least, and I never know. But luckily, the day job has me well practiced in not saying things that I shouldn't in front of the wrong audience, because that could get very bad.
You guys can see how clumsy I am now. Knocking shit over all the time.
I know we might should get to see your microphone drop this week.
No, because I don't have the boom arm. The boom arm.
All right, we're still figuring things out here and there about everything. We're just kind of playing with YouTube a little bit, so we'll switch back and forth and stuff like that. This is the unused substitutes. We are a completely random. I guess we're not MLS owned now, are we?
No, we're independent.
No one bought us. Okay. Tampa Bay Rowdies, generally a podcast. Generally a podcast. Usually on Tuesday nights. Mostly on Radio St. Pete and Rabble Sports. But tonight, for the hell of it, we're just going to play around on YouTube. The news we've been talking about all week has been, I guess you could say, it's one of the worst. I don't know. There's so many worst kept secrets in soccer these days. It seems like, but I know it's been the topic of discussion for a while, and then it was finally made official this week. So we decided we would just kind of do this whole show based on that. But generally, we started off talking about the most recent game, which was last weekend. We drew with Ottawa. Okay, so let's get to the news. And we're not in the playoffs, and we're leaving the league. So, just a little bit of stuff.
Burn it down.
That's what we're doing Sunday.
You know, the worst part is, like, Ottawa eliminates us from the playoffs and then follows us to USL like dicks.
Well, it's that time of year where Canadians just end up down here doing whatever we want to do to begin with. So,
ruining our lives since this big dawn of time.
Well, I won't go that far since my mom's from the same province as Ottawa, so I won't. But yeah, ruining our dining out and ruining our grocery shopping experiences and stuff like that,
and day-to-day driving.
Yeah, but this is also why I feel we'll be well prepared when the zombie apocalypse comes, because we can deal with them. They're really no different or faster moving than zombies are, at least portrayed.
But didn't that study come out say that like Tampa was like the third worst or like prepared or something like that?
That's why I'm getting out of Tampa. You remember what my plan is, right?
Yes. I'm going to fight New Orleans,
going to New Orleans, hijacking a boat and taking over an oil rig. That's where I'll be. Until
that explodes. Didn't you watch like Deepwater Horizon? Isn't what the hell it is?
I haven't, but also knowing my track record around things like that, an explosion's highly possible. I feel like I'm hiding my whole face behind the mic over here, which is probably a good thing for the people watching, if anyone is watching.
Did you tweet out a link or anything, or is this just like?
I probably ought to do that. Why don't you talk about stuff for a little bit, and I'll tweet links out and things like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, I tweeted that we were live on YouTube, but I don't have a link. I don't know what link we're supposed to use. So
it's just whatever our channel is. It's unlisted, I believe. But if you go there, I think it's live, like on the channel.
Get it out there. Get it out.
Look, last time you told me to get it out, we both got arrested.
Yeah, this is YouTube, not RedTube. Whoa, I'm knocking shit. I'm knocking stuff over everywhere.
And now for a live look at still looks like a better situation than my place, at least.
I try to, I do live in this room, and I spend a lot of time now in this chair because I don't have any place to read. I need to buy a better chair, because I just chill here, and you can see my presidential books that I'm constantly reading.
Did you watch the Hamilton documentary?
PBS, yeah, like 8 people sent me links the next the week, and I appreciate that greatly. But I did. I woke up. I missed it Friday because I forgot what I was doing, and then Saturday morning I went and I streamed it because Lin-Manuel was like, "It's only on for a limited time," and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't miss it!" And then
we recorded it. My daughter came home from school. My 8-year-old daughter came home from 3rd grade saying, "Can I stay up late to watch it?" Because her teachers had told her that it's something they should probably watch. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Spencer just retweeted the link at least. So
Yes.
That reminds me, I need to go do that. I'm still jealous that your logo looks better than mine does, even though it's the exact same file.
Old and busted, new hot. Is that the line from Men in Black? Even though
I mean, that's not inaccurate for us, I would say.
you're not that far older than me.
Yeah, but I feel like it some days, especially today, dude. This is the biggest first world problem / white people problems or whatever. This is so I usually I gotta be at work by 8:15, and then it's not like anyone comes around to the classrooms to check and see, but if they did show up for something and we weren't there, and you probably get in trouble. So I usually leave my house like 7:20, 7:30, so I get there around 8, which means I set my alarm for like 6:15, so I can snooze it a couple times, still get up, and even set it a little bit early just in case. Well, I left my phone in my classroom last night, which meant I didn't have my alarm clock. But that's cool because my wife gets up like an hour before I do. Like she's leaving around the time that I usually get up. So I just left a note out for her to wake me up before she left, which is good until the first words I hear this morning. And since we're on YouTube and not Radio St. Pete and the other ones, we can do this. The first phrase I heard this morning was "shit, this is bad." Which was my wife's voice, luckily, because things would be even weirder if it was someone else. And I said, "What?" And she said, "It's 7:20," and we were both in bed still. Like she had slept through her alarm. They needed to have left like an hour before. However, I was still out the door by 7:30.
I was out the door by 8, which is an hour before I usually wake up because I had to open the store. Which
Jeez.
Is it's been a weird day. That's why I, instead of drinking alcohol, have a cup of Dunkin' Donuts in my hand at 8:30 at night.
I'm going with since my wife and daughter are out camping, I'm going with a can of our good friend. You get it here on camera for you. J-Dub's Up Top IPA, even though it's hiding in my Dale's Pale Ale thermos stainless steel vacuum whatever koozie that keeps things super freaking cold.
Nice. Should we move to the soccer portion of the show?
Should we? You think?
I guess. I mean, we self-relegated.
I mean, no one's really watching right now, so we can still just kind of do whatever we want.
True. I should have put my Dunkin' Donuts coffee in my unused substitute mug and stayed on brand.
That's not a terrible idea. All right, let me go and double check all the links and things and put them out there in case people are actually interested in watching. And I'll let you.
Is there anybody watching right now?
This says 0 viewers, so
okay.
It's more than I thought we were going to have. But I'll let you ramble and monologue there for a little bit, and then I'll come back and try and figure out what else may or may not be going on. All right, take it away.
The best news of the week happened today, not the Rowdies going to USL or the apparent imminent collapse of the NASL, but USL has finally hit puberty and has moved from 5 subs to 3 subs. We are adults now, and like I said, we're USL is finally getting with the times of soccer where we have 3 subs. And really, did you really think Stuart Campbell could make 5 subs in a game? Did you really?
Even if but that means there's 2 spaces on the bench for us then, at least.
There's always room on the bench for us, but
well, maybe you.
Yeah,
I don't know about me.
They'll never. Oh my God! It's Stuart Campbell is turning to Ricky Hill with substitutes, but we'll get there. Did anything else happen today? Exciting in soccer news? I don't think so.
Did someone email somebody? Maybe something about emails I saw. I don't know. Wait, is this the wrong show? I mean,
there was
Cog, so I guess it's kind of related. So okay, yeah, I've got the link here, I think still. Let me put this out there on Twitter real quick, and then I'll come back. All right, keep rambling a little bit.
It was the FC Cincinnati podcast. I don't know their names just yet. Let me check that.
Cincy Soccer Talk or something, I think, or Cincy Sports Talk.
Cincy Soccer Talk is the credit for getting that scoop about 3 sub rule. Congrats to them. I have not listened to their show yet, but we shall be best friends.
It seemed like pretty good guys, and I know we've gotten some. We've been approached from a couple of the USL podcasts about having us on and talking about. I assume the Rowdies and less about ourselves.
Yeah, I don't feel like introducing myself, but I'll talk Rowdies all day.
Oh, 2 viewers now. This is scary.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I was in hair and makeup for like a half hour trying to get pretty for this.
Well, like we say, it's Florida, and everyone gets to make at least one bad choice in Florida, and 2 people are doing this right now via the internet. Yeah, so it was announced after, well, God, what, a couple days after the game. Well, because the next day was the USL Championship game, where the USL president hinted that they were some of the rumors were true, and they were going to announce 2 new teams in the next week. And then I remember we had the big semantic discussion about what exactly is next week. Is that next week starting on Monday, or is that next week the week after?
It turned out to be 2 days.
Tuesday, yeah. One day after they said it's going to happen tomorrow, and we were told no, it's not going to happen tomorrow. And then the next morning, yeah, actually it is going to happen today. So
yeah. I mean, it's an adventure, always is. But I got yelled at for my comments on the indie pod, so I'm going to be nice today.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. So
I made a joke about them actually being punctual and releasing the USL news at 1:00, and I got quite a few middle finger emojis.
From who?
That'll remain anonymous. Let's just say me saying they're not punctual.
Wow. So now one thing, and I did my version of show prep today. Did type up a little bit of note, but Neil Morris sat down. I guess not really sat down. Well, I'm sure he was sitting down with USL President Jake Edwards for his podcast, Inverted Triangle. And I'm going to say any useful information I have is probably coming straight from his show, and I mean to give him full credit for it. So on the chance that I don't remember to mention that I got this from Neil, I got it from Neil. I'm not going to try and do his whole show and take all the information, but you should definitely go find it and give it a listen. The Cincy Soccer Talk guys are going to have Edwards on next week, which I think is a Monday or a Tuesday show.
If it's a Monday show, we should try to get him for Tuesday.
I know. Well, we've got our contacts now. So, and they when we asked the last time about having him come on, they said, and when the situation warranted, then they would make that happen. So we'll get back in touch and work something out.
Yes.
But they one of the questions that I'm trying to get the little mic flag over here on the screen. One of the questions that Neil asked him was, what was the reasoning, the idea behind announcing it when they did, and he basically said it was the idea of the clubs, and they had discussions about doing it, whether they're going to do it before the playoffs, after the final game of the season, what was going to happen. So he kind of made it sound like it was the club's decision, and they went with it. I will say that the day, like the afternoon after, maybe the day after the announcement was made, was when I got my email from the ticket reps about deposits for 2017 and season ticket renewals. So I don't know if that was driving part of that idea, is let's get this information out there so that we can start soliciting for the season ticket renewals, and people are going to want to know what league and blah blah blah. So I mean, it's got to be part of it, I guess.
I don't know. I never got an email, so I guess they don't want me to come back.
Well, that's because you know who your ticket rep is now.
No,
you have you got Joanna.
No, she's no longer there.
She's not.
No,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago. She's no longer there.
Oh wow.
So I have no idea who anybody in the ticket office is anymore. I don't have.
I have the new guy.
They're all new.
I know, but the guy who's in charge of all the reps.
Oh well, I don't have anybody because I never got an email.
Who I believe came over from the St. Louis Blues.
Oh, F him.
But we gotta let him know that we are a package deal. Because I was trying to get switched to Joanna, and she was like, "Oh no, that's the boss man. You got to ask him directly. I can't just go hijack your account."
See, when Chris was leaving, I emailed, and I got the email. I emailed him back and said, "I hate change. Please give me somebody I know."
If you hate change, it's been a pretty rough time for you to be a Rowdies fan lately.
I said, like this has been absolutely crazy, and I think it's why I'm going gray so quickly is because of the Rowdies this past year, especially.
Yeah, I wish I could use that as an excuse, but I've had grays for 22 years now.
Nope, it's been in the last like year and a half that I'm going gray.
You
But
son of a bitch.
You don't really see it on Google Hangout here. It looks pretty good. I can.
You can see it in my goatee, I guess, but I have the hat on to cover the rest of it up.
Like I said, I spent about a half hour in hair and makeup today.
I spent about a half hour this month in hair and makeup.
Yeah, I literally just took a shower and put some clothes on because nobody wants to see that.
Nice. Well, yeah, we're not doing the show live from the shower. All right, I do have some questions coming in. We're using what the USL on Twitter. If you have questions or thoughts or ideas about the Rowdies move and other league related things, but we're gonna kind of do this, break it down a little bit like we do our games, our kind of game recaps where we do good, bad, ugly. Only we're gonna do good, bad, and then questions, because I don't think there's any questions we still have, because I want to at least go into it with an open mind and not do not start calling things ugly right off the bat. But we'll wait and see what happens. So here's a couple of the things that I just jotted down in my head today that I count as good. Number one, no more split season.
Ah, yes. So good.
I mean, $4 difference, and it sounds like no more split season in NASL. If so, we've done a great thing for a benevolent thing for all of lower division soccer.
I thought they were going to do split season, but like it balanced.
Well, yeah, but at least it's going to be you're not going to have, that'll take away some of the Fort Lauderdale complaints. Needing new owners and hoping to exist and stuff like that will still be there, but I like the idea of just doing a straight out flat. It's going to be 32 game schedule, 16 home, 16 away. That was another thing from Neil's podcast. Again, Edwards did confirm that the teams that are in the league right now, including the expansion teams just announced, are going to be the teams for next season. There will not be any more teams added before next season. So it's going to be a 30-team league. Right now it's 31. Wilmington's dropping down to PDL level, I guess. So it's going to be 15 in each league, and we're going to play 32 games, 16 home, 16 away. Same number of home games as we had this year with NASL. So we'll play each other team twice in our conference. That's 28 games. I'm guessing they said for the last year, the other 4 games, the extra games could be divided between, regional rivals, which for us there are none.
Orlando City B.
Like I said, there are none, or West Coast teams, with the caveat that you cannot play one team more than 3 times in the regular season. So I don't know. I'm going to assume we're going to play Ottawa at least one more time, because that's in we have that existing relationship from NASL.
But wouldn't they be in the Eastern Conference anyway?
Yeah, but we'll play them twice. One of the other games, one of the 4 games, might be a third against Ottawa.
I don't want to. I'm so sick of them.
I know, right? What I would like to see, and he talks about this again on Neil's podcast. I swear I'm not just going to do Neil's podcast over and over. But there's, you've got the independent clubs and you've got the B teams. Coming at it from our point of view as NASL fans, and this is what I was thinking about today as I was driving my daughter all around Manatee and Sarasota counties. There's a handful of teams that are pretty well known to everyone outside of USL. Guys like Sacramento, or clubs like Sacramento Republic, clubs like Cincinnati, clubs like Louisville. And if you've been following soccer for a while, you've got your Rochesters and Charlestons and Arizona. I'm kind of aware of Arizona, but there's clubs you kind of have heard the names of several times. I had assumed that maybe this is just ego, but I'm assuming that us and Ottawa will kind of jump into that same kind of level. It would be fun to see some of those bigger name clubs play each other, especially Western Conference ones, which we're not going to get to see. It'd be neat to see that maybe in those 4 other games.
I definitely want to see Sacramento. That's about the only team I want to. I mean, Louisville will be nice. We saw Cincinnati in the Open Cup.
Yeah, they'll try. I mean, we're going to see Cincinnati. They're going to be a conference opponent anyway, so they're going to be down here at least once.
And it won't be midweek games. hopefully.
Yeah, they said there won't be as many midweek games as there were this year
Well,
with
yeah,
the
but
32 game schedule. So
get the midweek. Like midweek games are never going to be a draw, and as we see, I'm trying to get closer here. There we go. But it's just I don't know. It's going to be soccer. Like I don't see the why people are would be upset about the league change. It's going to be soccer. The quality isn't much different from what I hear. I haven't watched it, but Kartik says there's a difference, but the quality is actually better in USL. But
yeah, I mean, just like anything in the league, your top teams, your team spending more money on some of the players and facilities are probably going to be able to be a higher level of competition. And we saw it 2 years ago when USL went 7-0 against NASL in the Open Cup. And then last year with a little bit of a table turning, we got a little bit of revenge back. But like I'm not walking. I don't think, in my opinion at least, that we should be going into this league with the idea that we're going to go 32-0 and win the championship because we're moving from.
We're going to go 30-2.
That's like my levels of optimism right there.
No, I just watched the championship game, and if Swope Park Rangers made the final, it would be golden.
No, but maybe that was a Western Conference team, though. I don't know.
I mean, the Red Bulls look good, but Swope Park Rangers really helped them look good.
Right.
Like, what was it? Their third goal that like pinballed around the box as they kept trying. It was like a practice drill where the defense had to pass it to the offense to put it in the net. It was some weird, and bodies were flying, and it just was disastrous.
Now, let's be honest, though. We've seen some sequences like that at Al Lang.
I was going to say, it looks like us against Indy. And you go, boys. Indy's my team now. You go.
I'm going to make a surprising statement in a few minutes when we talk about the remainder of the NASL schedule, which I guess we'll touch on for a few minutes because it's still just technically relevant. I guess.
That's my league, man.
All right, next good thing. Like I said, we're going to have the same number of home games. Season actually starts a little bit earlier, finishes a little bit earlier. Kickoff will be the weekend of like March 24th through 26th, which I'm cool with. That's the end of my spring break. I wish it would be a week earlier when it would be on my birthday, but I'll take what we can get. But I mean, the preseason, and then now I have no idea what any of the other clubs in the league are doing. I'm still getting used to who these people are and finding out this information. But our preseason is going to consist of the Florida Cup, the MLS Invitational, and then we're going to have, I'm guessing, probably a week or two at the beginning of March before we get, like, you'll probably have the typical games at USF and game at UT. I don't know who else is going to have that level of competition before getting into the league season.
I know nothing about USL preseason yet, but I have a feeling it's not on that level. But I could be wrong. I know, like I said, I know nothing about USL in general, but especially their preseason. But I would assume, and this might be where things come in, is reserve teams probably, I don't know if they train with the first teamers through MLS preseason and then get dropped down for the USL season. I don't know how that works.
Spencer's lying, by the way. He just said people should watch because we're beautiful. I'm only beautiful because there's a mic in front of half of my face. He just likes the Liverpool flags over my head, I think.
I do, though. I like them.
I know you do, too. All right, so next thing I had up there, now this could possibly change, I'm guessing, maybe in December. Earlier entrance into the Open Cup. We've always come in the round after USL and played USL teams. We'll come in a little bit earlier, so possibility of making a longer Open Cup run. And something else I thought of, it's the team from each division, like the longest surviving team gets a little bonus check at the end, right?
Yeah.
Well, Ottawa can't participate, so in theory, we're set up pretty good to be possibly the longest lasting USL team.
We haven't won an Open Cup game since what, Seattle?
We won last year against Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that's right, Cincinnati. You're right. But
I'm just saying.
Sorry, my thoughts were elsewhere, and then I mean, yeah, we could. Especially, we could probably beat some NASL teams. But here's my thing. So, say the division swap. right?
Okay.
NASL drops to Division 3, USL gets Division 2. They have 8 teams. That's not going to fill out the third round or whatever of the open or fourth round of the Open Cup, or however many rounds that is. It's not going
No,
to.
but I think they've had in the past. There's some USL teams that play each other in that round too. Like
Okay.
they assign they assign the NASL teams to like a regional kind of rival. So we'd probably end up with like a Jacksonville or a Miami or a Fort Lauderdale, if they exist. And then we'd move on from there. And then I think they fill in the rest with teams playing each other.
Well, I mean, it's just crappy because like you would think that why should USL play USL while some are having to play NASL if there's a bonus for survival?
True. I know. I know. In the next round, there are MLS teams that play each other at a certain point because there's not enough USL teams to go around. But to me, I don't know. The Open Cup's kind of fun. So if we have a chance to have a longer experience in it, at least, that could be kind of fun. Now, if we go to this might be the same rule that applies to the B teams. I was gonna say if Rowdies 2 go to PDL, do they get to get in as well? Or
No, I
not
think
because they're
no.
owned by us. Yeah, I think they're out.
Yeah.
All right, next thing. It's locally headquartered. Like USL is right across the bridge from me, at least in Tampa. Well, 2 bridges. But I looked at the address and I'm like, I know exactly where that building is. Like I haven't lived in Tampa in probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years, but I know exactly where the building is, right over on West Shore Boulevard. Like it's just kind of cool to have. I mean, this is probably what the Cosmos feel like, having Bill Peterson at their beck and call.
I was going to say, I don't think there will be mass fellatio happening.
Probably not, but I'm still holding out hope we can go over and take a tour sometime and maybe sit down and chat with some people.
Oh, you're hoping for a tour? I was hoping to be drunk and sitting outside heckling them on Mondays after a bad game.
No, I just want a league ball. I got one to replace here in my room, in my so-called studio now.
I don't know.
Yeah, yours is autographed. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I won that.
Wish I had one of those.
And then got into a fight. I got that at the Orlando game.
Yeah, I remember.
I wasn't gonna go, and they were like, "You need to come and get your autographed ball." And literally, I know I was like walking into a war zone.
Oh, the memories. Next thing up, this year was the year that NASL partnered with BN, partnered with CBS Sports. They, for some reason, were still stuck with One World Sports, and continued on with ESPN3.
Where you needed like the Goonies map to figure out where the hell your team was being broadcast.
Like it helped us a little bit to sell a Fubo subscription or two. But last year, and this is another thing that's going to change, and I'm just going to say, go listen to Neil Morris's podcast about this because they talk a lot about their production. That's their big venture for this year, and but last year all the games were broadcast in HD on YouTube. This year, I assume they'll be there as well, but they're also expanding their partnership with ESPN. I don't know whether that's a ESPNU like the championship game was on, or if it's going to be on ESPN3 like we were before. But if you're able to watch the stream somehow previously, you'll definitely be able to do it again. I can throw YouTube up on my TV. We can put it on the big screen at the bar in Shamrock in Sarasota. So that's cool. That'll still be available. And they made it sound like the way they're going to do it is going to cut the costs for the clubs substantially, because they run it all themselves. There's a small fee involved for each club to get into the what they call USL productions. But after that, then they'll the league handles all of the production that they partner up with an outside company that does production for MLS games and stuff, and they're doing like TV shows.
Does that mean I need to hit SAP to hear it in English?
No, but maybe if they do that broadcaster thing I was talking about, you can like switch between the home and away broadcasters with that. That would be kind of cool. Great. If it worked.
I was just taking a shot at MLS's stupid TV deal, and
I know I was watching the playoff games in Unimas last night.
I can never get it to change. I can't get it to English. I follow their instructions. It still doesn't go to English, and
and I always watch it on the TV on my computer, so I can't. I don't know of any way to change it there. The first game at least was in English that I watched, but then the second game last night, which I think was the Seattle game, was all in Spanish. But the one thing that the benefit of that is I can like kind of tune it out and not have to pay full attention to it. But then when I hear the voices starting to rise and rise and rise, like they're going into the hot zone, I know I need to stop and take a look at what's going on.
I would have missed that guy.
I know, hot zone guy. This is why we got to get him an Open Cup.
We need to get him into USL. Down with NASL.
And also there is the potential, the ability to continue with local TV broadcasts, and he talked about that too.
I don't see why we wouldn't have a local TV deal. Wouldn't that that should be a team thing and not a league thing?
Yeah, except that none of the video stuff is going to be handled by the clubs individually. So it'll be a local TV thing, but it's going to be, they're going to, like, I guess, basically license it through the league. But he said that they did this as a test last year with Louisville, and they did one game, and the distributor said, okay, give me all the games, and they were getting, however they measure the ratings on these things, like 30 to 40,000 viewers for the TV broadcasts, which for a local production is probably pretty good.
Well, hopefully Bright House keeps the Rowdies, and we can still have a local TV deal.
You mean who are they now? Charter?
Are they really? I have no idea. I have Verizon, and I hate them, and I want to. Or sorry, I have.
Your Frontier now. Yeah.
It's all cheap. Burn it to the ground. Burn it to the ground. I just had to pay them today. That was $160 out of my pocket. So screw them.
Oh yeah, I'm still looking at ways to but we just redid a contract with them before they changed, because I wanted to lock in what I had before they changed over. Just in case.
January, the contract's up, and I'm cutting the cable. Screw that. I don't watch TV. I watch MSNBC, CNN, and occasionally Fox News, and then soccer. So I can stream that all.
Well, and now I've got the Roku built-in smart TV in the bedroom, and I can get all the channels, all the shows I want on demand there. So that's something we'll think about. Anything you want to add to the good list?
Today's news that we're back down to 3 subs. That is the greatest news in the world. I am happier than a pig in shit over it. We are now in a grown-up again. See, we arrived, we've complained, and things have changed. Who says democracy doesn't work?
Well, I got an email about that. Oh, I
did you delete it? It's Rick is coming. But no, seriously, that is great news, because it was a big reservation of mine. I know people were concerned about MLS teams, reserve teams, whatever. I don't care about that. I cared about the fact that it felt like a development league, because we had amateur rules. Again, according to the Cincy Sports Talk podcast, they're going to have that scoop that USL is switching to the 3, and that has made my weekend.
Yeah, that was even one of the things. Some of the San Antonio guys who we're familiar with them from them being in our league a couple years ago. Said that was a weird thing. That was one thing that it took a while to get used to, and now it looks like we don't have to, which is nice.
Yes.
All right, so on to the bad. First impressions. B teams.
Yeah, but that's really it, is B teams. If that's your argument, I'm losing that anger and that resentment, because B don't bother me.
And I'm counting these ones separate from the affiliates, where it's an independently owned, but they have an arrangement deal. When I'm talking about the completely MLS owned ones, like Orlando City B, like Bethlehem Steel, like TFC2, and FC Montreal, and Red Bull. So out of the 15 teams in the Eastern Conference that we're going to be in, it's 5. So it's 5 home games. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not excited to go play, any of those, but it is what it is. And I get it. And one of the things that I had mentioned, and again, I'm going back to Neil's podcast here. One of the things that I talked about before was I saw that because I have you still up on the screen. One of the things I talked about was the possibility that there might eventually be a split where there's a USL second division and a USL third division, and he confirmed that is one of the things they're looking at. Not necessarily whether that would be the B teams or not, but
there is a USL third division. It's called NASL.
Oh no, that'd be PDL. Then NASL would be fourth division. We kid a lot about everything, but as excited, and I've said this a couple times on Twitter, as excited as I am, or at least intrigued by this whole thing, I hate the kind of uncertainty and stuff it's doing to some of our friends who are supporters of other teams in NASL, trying to wait and find out what's going on with them. Are they going to stay or are they going to go? Like they really are kind of in the upside down right now.
And Bill Peterson is the Demogorgon.
Wait,
yeah.
so since I know from pictures that Jake Edwards is a clean shaven gentleman on his head, does that make him 11?
Yes. He's just eating Egos and breaking.
Other things I had on the bad list. We've lost our in-state rivals in road trips, and yeah, Orlando City's over there in Melbourne, but and I can already hear from their chatter on Twitter that that's one they're looking forward to coming to. Even talking about moving it to their to Orlando City's new stadium they're going to build because it's going to be such a huge game. It's not even an Orlando thing. It's like I just don't care that much about the B teams. Like Jacksonville, like I'm getting up on Sunday morning at 7:00 in the morning and driving to Jacksonville and back. And only partially because it's our last NASL game, but that's a fun road trip. The people we know there are cool. I've done the Fort Lauderdale one. I never did Miami, but we're not going to have that same kind of ability, at least, although this may be a temporary thing because there could be more movement in later years. And also the Southeast is, according to Edwards, kind of their big target for expansion in the future.
It's the loss of what feels like history.
Right.
Like you said, the Fort Lauderdale rivalry, the newfound Jacksonville rivalry, which has only been 2 years. But it's just, and even not even in-state rivals. We're losing that historic Cosmos Rowdies rivalry.
That was my next one on the list. Our kind of legacy rivals.
Yeah, like that's the history is gone. It's kind of like, and the fact that we're having a talk on whether or not we get to keep the stars.
Yeah. I haven't decided how, like, I don't have a gut feeling about that one, which, so I'm kind of like, that's not as huge of a deal as it is for some people. I don't know. I mean, you see teams that go between leagues when they get promoted or relegated, and I don't know necessarily that many of them changing their crest. I wouldn't be surprised if it's changed on the jerseys, but not on the merchandise.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care either way. I'm not one of the purists per se or traditionalists.
Right.
The stars to me mean nothing. Like, we know they have won them in the past. They can keep them in the stadium or something, but like, I don't need it on my crest.
I mean, maybe if you had been there for that one time,
both times. The first time I wasn't even born.
Yeah, I was. I don't think I wasn't alive for the first one, but I was at least was. The other one was 4 years ago yesterday.
Yeah, because my Facebook memories was me dressed up as a rabbi.
And I was going to tweet you and say, "Do you remember what you were wearing 4 years ago today?"
Well, it's funny. I was dressed as a rabbi, and also wearing underneath my rabbi robe, I was wearing a tank top that said "Party with Jews."
Nice. Oh, I totally forgot to go, neglect to go do this. Harry Austin, one of the San Antonio guys, was in the YouTube chat room. I'm going to say hey to him real quick. So if you're still watching, Harry, for some odd reason,
there's a chat room.
Yeah, on YouTube, on the actual YouTube page.
Oh, I should probably be there.
One of us should at least.
Yeah, screw it. I don't need to talk. Whatever.
We have to get used to this. This is our first time like doing this publicly, at least. Remember when we used to do all the shows like this, and then I have to record the audio manually later?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's why we didn't do that much. Maybe that's why I don't know how long we'll keep doing this now. No, if we can get everything worked out, this will be a fun little thing we can add to it. So yeah, the loss of like the legacy rivals was the next thing on my list. You kind of hit that. The loss temporarily, possibly, of Division II status.
Yeah, like we'll be promoted before we ever kick a ball, in my opinion.
Wouldn't surprise me. I did see everyone's favorite source out there. I don't remember if it was you that retweeted or someone else. I guess did you talk to him? Was Nipun on the show you talked to last night?
Yep.
All right, so he tweeted out that apparently the rumor is U.S. Soccer is going to be auditing all of the lower division teams in reference to where they, how they would qualify as D2 or D3, possibly before they make this decision, which seems weird because it's almost the end of October. and this is possibly being decided in November. I don't know if they have enough time to do all that.
What is the point of the audit? Like just to see the worth and everything, and if
Uh,
the
Possibly
division
checking the worth of the owners, because that's one of the requirements. I'm
Yeah, I
guessing. I don't
guess.
know.
I don't know. That's just here's the thing. Just basic. Okay, I'm getting, and I'm probably gonna get yelled at because it's we're newly USL, so I'm saying this. But if your Division Two has 8 teams and is wobbling, and your third division is at 30 teams and seems strong, it seems common sense, right? Like everybody talks about wanting a strong D2, and our D2 is faltering majorly and hemorrhaging teams and is wobbly and is down to 8 teams. And you have a third division that is now like anchoring everything. Wouldn't you want to? Okay, so MLS is now secure as Division One. I don't care what. Closed. Blah 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 blah. blah single entity. Blah blah.
Right.
But MLS is now pretty solid Division One. So then USL can cement Division Two, and it can itself, and then you can then work on Division Three, and just continue on.
Yeah, I mean, the next couple years, I think, are going to be. I don't think lower division soccer in the U.S. is going to look like anything like what it looks like right now in the next 5 years. Who knows? But I think this is just the beginning, honestly, and it might be a good thing that we got in on it at the beginning rather than at the end.
What are you talking about? You want to be? I mean, I didn't sign up to cover the death of a league, and here we are. I just wanted to cover
half the stuff we've covered. We didn't sign up to cover.
Our first episode
and
our first episode ever, we talked about. I talked about Georgie Ristov's hair, and now we're covering the death
and
of
the guy
league.
who called him lazy.
Yeah, well, I think that's half the mob at this point. But here we are now covering the death of a league, the emergence or like the resurgence of another league, and I was making pop culture references about looking good in hotel bars. So it's a strange time. I'm glad we got in when we did. We had some fun in NASL, and now we're going to have fun in USL. We're going to bring the party.
I hope so. I do.
We always bring the party. I mean, even if we don't win, we can bring the party.
Yeah. So next thing on my list, and this one's already kind of changed from when I put it on there because we got a little update later. Slightly different league rules. 5 subs was one of them. That's going to be gone apparently down to 3. The other one I noticed the other night was the tiebreakers, which some of them are okay. Some of them like I've never heard of before, but okay. The first tiebreaker is total wins in league games, not goal differential. But I mean, it's kind of okay with that. Winning should be the focus, maybe, rather than trying to draw your way to a salad plate. Like,
don't kiss my new bed.
Hey, I'm just tired. I'm just upset that I'm Old Bay.
You're just old.
I'm fish seasoning. Is that what?
Old Bay fish seasoning.
That stuff they put that on chips too. It's pretty good. Second tiebreaker is goal difference in league games. Third tiebreaker is goals scored in league games. Fourth is your ranking based on points earned against the top 4 conference finishers, or how you did against the strongest teams in your conference.
But what if the tiebreaker is for one of the top 4 spots?
I don't know. And then it says flawed. It says in here, and I don't understand this part necessarily. If number of games is unequal, then point percentage applies.
Well, they'll be equal then, right? Wouldn't they? Because it's
all the games are well, maybe that's how they factor in if it's for one of those top 4 spots. Maybe you have to discount some of those games or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like if it's for the top spot, like how do you figure? I don't know. Whatever. But the next point, the next tiebreaker is absurd and stupid.
And hopefully it never gets to this point. But the FIFA Fair Play tiebreaker, team with fewest disciplinary points in league games. And if number of games is unequal, points will be divided by games played to arrive at a common basis for comparison. I don't know how this is all figured out. I'm assuming there's X amount of points for a yellow card, X amount of points for a red card, and add them all up. And
what are their cards? Do they hold do they judge like 9? Like the 4th official holding up like a 9 and then like an 8 depending on the tackle. Like
that's a 4-point yellow.
Yeah, like
with a 7 degree of difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully it'll never get there. And then lastly is a lottery drawing of lots, whatever done by the league, whether it's straws or coin
That's how
flip
you
or
know we are MLS's bitch, because it'll be like blind draws from an envelope in Don Garber's office.
and for the fourth playoff spot, Jermaine Jones goes to Chicago. So yeah, that's a couple, but hopefully it'll never go past like the first or second one.
Let's just win. Let's just win.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we might need to clean up some of the yellow cards that some of our guys get.
No. Resign Georgie Hristov, resign Juan Guerra, and let them go.
We got to throw Martin Vingard in there too.
Yes,
because he was a yellow machine there for a while. Kind of cleaned up a little bit near the end, but he was racking up at least one a game. And then the other thing, few if any games against Western Conference outside of the playoffs. Like I would like to play, like we said, Sacramento Republic. I would like to play. There's a independent team out in Colorado, the Switchbacks. OKC Energy. Like we've seen them play in Bradenton at that MLS preseason when they had who was the janitor? I forget what his actual name was again. Remember we had the guy we called the janitor?
Oh, crap.
Cleanup guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember.
He used to score those random garbage goals, and then he went and played for OKC. Evan Frimpong was OKC. Like,
yeah,
we know some people in OKC that are, go to those games. Like, it would be kind of cool to see them come in. St. Louis FC, especially now. Apparently, this is the hottest news in the league. Is they have Preki as their coach.
I probably should stop giving players nicknames and forgetting their real name.
Well, with the turnover, you never know.
I know. Hold on, I gotta Wikipedia this.
It was Casey something. I remember that. Casey LaDouche. I don't know. I have no idea. But I would like, so I would kind of, if we're going to have these 4 extra games, I'm assuming 2 of those would be home, 2 of those would be away. I would like to have a Western Conference team come in and maybe even do a home and home where you pick 2 of these teams and do a home and home, like maybe with Sacramento or Oklahoma City or something.
Casey Townsend.
Yes, Casey Townsend. That's it. I don't think he's even there anymore. So we just spent a bunch of time trying to figure that out for no reason, just to prove that our old memories aren't completely gone yet. I'll say that's what it is.
And we had Luciano, the luchador.
Yes, who never did. Like I was going through like all of the podcast tweets, like back to the very beginning, looking for a particular picture a couple days ago, and like, oh my God! First of all, our tweets. I don't know. I'm assuming they're better now, but they were bad.
We were and are bad.
Yeah, at least now we own it. Before we were pretending not to be. Let's see. Anything else? Oh no, I got it over here still. All right. Yeah. Basically everyone's happy that the split season's gone and the 3 subs are coming in.
And there's like actual play. Well, there's playoffs.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to the? I know, what is it? It's top 6 or top 8? I guess top 6.
Yeah, I think it's 8. No, I think it's 8 from each conference. I think it's 16 teams.
That's right. We're still going to finish a point out.
That's what I said. Nick from Cosmos Country said Bill Edwards switched because he heard that 16 teams make the playoffs, and I said, "Don't worry, we'll still be 17."
Yeah. So basically, one whole conference plus 1 makes the playoff.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance. I'm not betting a possible tramp stamp tattoo this year on making the playoffs.
We're not,
because we should make the playoffs. Well, we should have made the playoffs this year. We should have made the playoffs last year, and the year before.
Let's not go down memory lane.
Look at my age. You're just happy if you can. Anything you want to add to the bad list?
Not anymore. Now that the 5 subs is gone, I am so happy.
I can't think of anything. Let me go peek real quick at Twitter and see if anyone had anything else for the bad list. No. I'll run through some of this stuff when we get to the.
I'm on Bill Everett's side. Like I said, my biggest thing is the fact that this team is now on sounder footing. We are guaranteed to have a team.
Seattle.
What?
We're Seattle now. Sounder?
Yes. Yes. Screw Seattle. I hate them. I don't even know why I hate them, but I do.
just because.
I think the
So
first time I watched an MLS game, it was a Seattle game, and their turf looked like crap, and they were wearing that like highlighter yellow jersey that like looked even worse on the turf, and I got mad.
my first time was a Mutiny game.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I went to Mutiny for like I went to Mutiny games on the 4th of July with my
Right.
family, and so I didn't really pay much attention
I don't
because
know if I ever went on the fourth, but I know because I went there back when I was in college. I remember going to some of those games.
I probably wasn't living in Florida back then. I moved down when I was 11.
Shut up. Hate you. Uh, so in the YouTube chat room, Harry from San Antonio says San Antonio FC was announced after they said last year that no other teams would be playing for 2016. So the hot rumor was Carolina could be one to jump if if USL gets D2 designation. So
Yeah,
he says, yeah, if Carolina jumped, they'd accept. San Antonio was announced on January 8th, 2016. So barely 2 months or so before
I
the season started.
yeah, I think it's a bit silly that they said yeah expansion is done because if there is going to be a switching or of anything of the division statuses, I think it would be asinine to not take any team that's wanting to jump.
Exactly. I mean, I can kind of see that where they're at least my level of OCD would be kind of placated by the fact that there's 15 in each conference right now. But still, yeah, if you can take more, if Carolina does jump, I mean that's it for NASL, isn't it? Like it's going to be a domino effect after that. Like they're going to play out 2017. I'm convinced one way or the other. But if
With Indy, Miami, New York.
New York, San Fran,
Oh yeah, I forgot about San Fran. So that'll be your 4 teams. Think of that travel.
Fort Lauderdale, if they exist, which they're going to be league owned, which you know what? This is a silver lining because everyone that complained about Miami going out and buying players and trying to win a championship and still didn't make the playoffs. Then again, what we brought in Joe Cole and other things like that, so you could make the argument we did the same thing. But if the league is having to float Fort Lauderdale to keep them going, maybe that cuts into the amount of players that Miami can buy from New York again.
Are you kidding? That's not going to happen.
I can hope. OKC, they say, is possibly going to take a year off, possibly relocate, possibly with brand new ownership group.
So wait, if OKC takes 2017 off, that puts them at 7 teams, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have a 17 2007 or 17 2017.
Yeah.
And with Carolina leaving, they could potentially have a 6 team.
Which being and now this is going into year 7 of NASL, which by U.S. soccer requirements means they're supposed to be at 12 or more teams. There's going to be a whole lot of waivers or provisional statuses.
I don't know
thrown out there.
Nope. I don't think they do it. If I'm U.S. soccer, and you're supposed to have 12 teams at least 12 teams at year 7, and they have 6 teams, GTFO. GTFO.
I still think, and I think it's just because U.S. soccer maybe not wanting to be seen as the ones dealing the death blow. Maybe they give them provisional D2 status for the year, and if and tell them get your stuff together, and hopefully Chicago shows up in 2018, and then there's the other California clubs that are being mentioned, like possibly San Diego and stuff. But if not, then they yank it, and I think that'll be it. That'll be.
I think at 6 teams the league is dead. I mean,
yeah,
that's a Sunday rec league if you're lucky.
It's barely more than arena football at this point.
Arena football has like nobody, right?
4.
Shut it down.
Just 4 teams, yeah.
But
one of them still the Storm, so But maybe if the Storm goes away, and they just named a new head coach, but maybe if the Storm goes away, we could finally get Vinnick involved in the Rowdies somehow. I know.
I've never been to a Storm game. I've been giving free tickets after Lightning games. I still have never gone because arena football. I'm sorry, Derek Sharp.
Now I went this is another thing. I went to some of those back when I was in college, but that's when they were like winning championships, and it was at least entertaining to watch.
I don't know. I just never had any desire to go to an arena football.
It is the most redneck thing you'll ever go to, though.
No, I used to go to Monster Jam.
Nah, this will be close. It's really close. Like it's probably like being on the infield for a NASCAR race. Then
that's the life goals. I think I can party with some good rednecks.
Then Monster Jam and arena football are like right there.
Monster Jam was awesome. We used to like. I'm probably going to reveal too much. We used to obviously tailgate for hours, and then all of the females that were with us, we used to put the beer cans between their boobs. Because hoodies, boobs, you couldn't see the beer, so we'd smuggle our beer.
Very smart.
Using cleavage because it worked. So
thought you were talking about some drinking game or something.
No, that's how. There's a tip for you, people. Just smuggle beer in breasts. Not in them. That's weird.
While we're talking about ways to get free drinks and sneak drinks in the Raymond James Stadium, what we used to do back in college was they would, if you went in and signed up and said you were going to be the designated driver, they gave you a wristband, and the wristband would get you like one free large Coke, which we would then take the small bottle of whiskey or rum, whatever we managed to get into the stadium, out and pour it in there and have one nice big drink for the game.
Nice. That's a good way to do it.
I haven't done that in a while, though. And the last time I did it, I may or may not have been in my mid-30s, so I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know what the statute of limitations is for sneaking booze into a stadium.
I'm still not in my mid-30s.
Go to hell. You watch. I'm going to find a way to pull some Freaky Friday shit, and we're going to swap bodies.
You don't want this body. Trust me. It's breaking.
You don't want this one. Trust me. Trust me. Bad knees and a small hairline.
We're venturing back into Rowdies Den territory here.
I know. I was gonna say this is like some old school unsub shit tonight, because like we haven't done a show like this since this isn't as bad as the one where we had to make "We Apologize in Advance" the episode title.
Oh my God, there were so many apologies.
Right.
I was thinking the other day that if I was ever to run for president, we'd have to delete season 2 of the Unused Substitutes from public records.
Someone's got it like all saved on an iPod somewhere or something. Like there's like a third generation iPod that has all this on there, just waiting just in case. They're on a private server somewhere. Actually, they're all on my computer.
Are they an Anthony Weiner's cell phone?
Actually, technically, they're not on my computer. They're on my portable hard drive, which is right now sitting in my classroom connected to a school district computer because I was playing a video off of it the last 2 days.
Oh, good. I hope they listen to it.
Yeah, I hope not. Anything else you want to add to the bad list?
No, we're good there.
All right. So going on to the questions, and some of these have been rumored to be answered, and I don't know, maybe some have been answered. I haven't been. I came home tonight, and during the school day, I can't really pay much attention to Twitter. Rowdies 2 moving from NPSL to PDL, has that been confirmed, or is
I
that
haven't
still
heard
a rumor?
confirmation yet, but I don't follow PDL, but I didn't see anything on Twitter.
I'm excited about this one just because I know Dominguez tweeted it out saying that was going to be the move. I'm excited about that just because it means, number one, there's a lot of Florida teams in PDL, including one like around the corner from my house, the IMG Academy, where the U.S. Soccer like U17 residency is. I don't know if that's what the team is, but there's they'll come down there to play a game, so I can go to one every now and then. And also it means we can face the behemoth, the bully of Florida PDL soccer, which is the Villages SC.
The Villages. Oh God! Didn't they feel like the Open Cup?
Yeah, they got kicked out of the Open Cup for fielding an ineligible player in a win, but they got like a round or two, I want to say, past where they started. But they won the Southeast, I think is what it's called, the Southeast of it, because they basically have a Florida conference like NPSL does. But there's like 7 or 8.
I would go to that away game.
Heck yeah, like we're doing that one.
Yeah, I will go on that. We need to. The Rowdy, like Rouse Mob, should make a Villages away trip.
That'll be, and then also I guess this new Lakeland team that Jason's starting the supporters group for. So like, you know, it'd be like watching mom and dad fight. But still, I might make that trip to Lakeland. See, that's I don't know if I have a.
I don't even know where Lakeland is.
If you hop on I-4, it's about.
I gotta go on I-4. Yeah. Screw you guys. No.
My wife's dad used to live there for a while.
I must probably knock over like 4 glasses off my desk. I'm sorry.
It sounded like it. Probably about 30-45 minutes outside of Tampa on I-4. You making? Was that Daisha?
Yeah.
Or the ferret?
No, the ferret's not in my room. Not this time, I don't think. No, my door's closed.
I thought you were
So-
going to whip out your ferret live on the show.
I told you this is YouTube, not Pornhub. I should.
Uh,
If we do another video, I will get her up here. I will let her run around and then bite my feet, and you'll see me like scream, and you'll see a little weasel running around behind me.
pick her up and massage your ferret right on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe I'll even like bathe her, get her all lubed up.
Uh,
Okay, let's get out of this territory. This is a soccer podcast.
The next one, independence of the club and this seems to have been answered. But there's a couple kind of related issues that kind of spring to mind. I want to talk about it. Number one, as far as I know, as far as it sounds like, and this goes back to the long-term goals thing. I don't see this team becoming even an affiliate of an MLS team, which I'm happy with. Minnesota does not have one in USL yet, and
No, that's us.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dear God, no, please. On Neil's podcast, they said that they're not going to have one for this year. They might come back and look at it, revisit it at the end of the year for the next season.
It'll be Fort Lauderdale.
Probably, they're hoping to try and keep those like as local to the home team as possible, or the MLS team as possible. So hopefully it's not us. Like I'm okay with this up to the point where we lose independence, even to the level of being an MLS affiliate. That's when I start to have an issue, because then I feel like you lose that connection, which I don't think he's doing it either.
No, he wouldn't relinquish that kind of control.
No, the other thing I thought of, because they were talking about how there's one of the teams, Rio Grande Valley FC. It's independently owned, but Houston Dynamo supplied the coaching staff, which Houston Dynamo's new head coach was the head coach of Rio Grande Valley last year. They supplied the coaching staff, some of the players, and then it was filled in with local players, so they can kind of still appeal to their local market. But it's kind of like a hybrid affiliation / MLS ownership.
That's too complicated.
Yeah, I think, and again, I mean, it would be a huge cost-cutting thing, which I don't think is the reason why this move was done, but I think it's a side benefit, travel costs and TV costs and things like that. But I don't think that's the overriding prime factor. So my other questions are, what are these long-term plans? I think it's pretty plain to say, based on what we heard from both the Rowdy statement, and then Don Garber was at USF the other night making some statements. But then Peter Wilt made some statements too. So let's kind of work through all of those. So Edward says it's the best place. USL is the best place for the Rowdies right now, in terms of their long-term goals and plans. So what is that?
MLS.
You would think, yeah.
It's the only thing it can be.
What else is it, unless your long-term plan is to make the playoffs every year in USL? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if you want to continually win USL, cool. But I think it's MLS is the goal.
And based on Garber's comments, and if you haven't seen those, Ryan, the Rowdy's PA announcer at Suitsanity on Twitter, was there and live tweeted. Had lots of nice compliments about the club, the staff that was in attendance, the stadium situation. Also said it's the biggest market out that they don't have a team in. It's a unique situation. It's an attractive situation. They would need, they want the local mayors, whether it's Kreisman in St. Pete or Buckhorn in Tampa, or whether it's some combination of both of them, to kind of step up and back the team if that's what their goal and what their interest is. So we'll see. Now, part of me says those comments are a shot at Miami, and it's kind of a warning to get your shit together, because it's been over 1,000 days since we announced you were going to be a club, and you still have stadium drawings, and that's about it. But I think there's part of it where they're genuinely interested in coming back to Tampa Bay.
Well, yeah, numbers say that we are the largest market, TV market without an MLS team in Florida and whatnot. But I don't think I think they know Miami's dead. I mean, you're not going to get that. You're not, especially public funding or anything. You're not going to get it. Miami has gotten screwed over by stadium deals, and I think Garber knows that it's dead, so he's courting Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is courting MLS, and I think You want a team like Orlando that draw, like, I hate them, but they draw so well.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to have an in-state rival. There's already a rivalry there. There's already history here.
I mean, their fans are talking about making giant road trips and stocking up on smoke bombs just to watch Orlando City B come here and play us. So, the interest is there.
Yeah, exactly. So why wouldn't you build your MLS market on an already existing, well-received place?
Yeah, I mean, he knows how obsessed they are with us, and
how could you not visit any Twitter feed of an Orlando City fan, and they're talking about Rowdies more than we do?
Yeah, I know the story has been that or at least the rumor is that the idea MLS's plan is to try and recreate as much as you can try and do that. The Cascadia stuff, Seattle and Portland and Vancouver, possibly with Orlando, someone else, whether it's Miami or us, and then maybe Atlanta, try and recreate that kind of rivalry stuff in the Southeast.
Atlanta plays when they enter next season.
I think so. And I was talking to our buddy Jared, who now is in Atlanta. They've sold 20,000 season tickets.
I'm only thinking about trying to connect with like Tony and the crew guys and dressing up like William Sherman and his troops for an away game.
You just want an excuse not to shave.
Well, yeah. I mean, speaking of, we'll get to that. It is almost Movember and my profile's active, but we'll get
that's
there.
Right. I really want to do the St. Baldrick's thing one time. I want to go the opposite way and just shave everywhere.
Like not shave, and then like for the Baldrick, just.
No, it's you raise the money with the goal of once you hit your goal, then you shave your head.
No, that'll be fun. We should do that. I'll do that too.
It's like for childhood cancer.
I don't know about that. I mean,
it's pretty cool. They usually partner up, and I might do it with try and get AO Sarasota involved in it.
Nice.
And partner up with you get like a local barbershop or something that's willing to do it. I don't know why you have to get professional barbers to come put a razor on one and go over your head, but that's what it is.
I don't think I can do that. I don't want to shave my head. I have a weird head.
I haven't seen my hair that short since like high school when I was in ROTC.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of scared to see what it looks like at 40, almost 41. Jesus.
Better watch out. It might not grow back.
Yeah, I know, right? I have hats. It'll be okay. Although by that point I'll need smaller sized hats. So, so we're these possible long-term plans. So yeah, I think, which now that leads me to my next thing is one of the rumors, concerns, worries, gripes, whatever it is you want to call it with Rowdies fans. And, I've been hearing this ever since the bus trip to Fort Lauderdale is, you're not going to have guys like Joe Cole. You're not going to have guys like, even like Georgie Ristoff and Matt Pickett. We know he's making a large sum of money. You're not going to see those kind of guys on the team anymore. They're all going to be gone because either A, they view themselves as too good for USL, which where else are you going to go? You've only got a limited number of teams in NASL who, probably all have money issues anyway. And they might be the third division. But also that, they're not going to spend on these type of players. They're not going to maintain the level of investment in players. Ottawa has come out and said publicly they're going to honor all their contracts they signed this year through the end of the contracts. And then they'll evaluate. They're not doing some big mass clean out.
They did it last year, though. Like, that's irrelevant.
Well, the players cleared themselves out last year.
But so I just feel like that coming from Ottawa, that's meaningless because they've already cut their budget to USL level anyway.
Right. Which is, I think, this is part of why they made the move in the first place, because of the reduced costs. They've got 3 other teams now in Canada they can play, even though some of them are going to be Western Conference ones. But and they're going to have Cincinnati, and they're going to have Louisville, and they're going to have a lot of closer teams. They can go to New York for Red Bull too, which they could go over there for Cosmos, but they'll actually be in New York this time. Like that,
but that's not necessarily. Where does Red Bull 2 play? Oh, they're getting a new stadium. They're getting. Jared was saying that I think they're going to have their own stadium now.
Yeah, but they're definitely more New York City than Cosmos are, aren't they?
Red Bulls play New Jersey, I think.
Yeah, but where Red Bull 2 play? Because I don't think they play at RBA.
No, they don't. Red Bulls 2.
So that's another thing. And this is where I've had to do a lot of thinking about this, because yeah, it's cool to go to the stadium and see Joe Cole out there, and it's cool to see Georgie Ristoff racking up 11 goals in a season. And you know, when we needed a goalkeeper, we went and bought one from MLS for a reportedly large sum of money. Like, it's cool to see that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, to me, it still boils down to I'm there for the name, and this is going to be the cliche, but the name on the front of the jersey. And I'm not talking about Hard Rock, although I do enjoy them as well. Not necessarily the guys on the back of the jersey. And plus, if your goal is MLS, then I don't know that you're cutting your players to begin with, because you want to keep generating interest and getting people coming out. I don't think the switch in the leagues, I don't think that, you know, you've got the hardcore fans, you've got the casual fans, and there's always more casual fans than the hardcore fans. You know, the moms and dads and the kids that come out from the youth leagues and whatever else, people that wander up on a Saturday night because there's it's something to do. Those are the guys, I think, that you know, they don't care. You know, they're not showing up because the Cosmos are in town or because Minnesota's in town. They're coming because it's something fun to do. They like the game of soccer. They know it a little bit. They watch it in the World Cup. Their kids play it, and then you've got the mob and guys like us who are a little more hardcore and more into it and follow things on Twitter and do stuff like this on Friday nights. I mean, come on. So those are the ones who are likely going to be a little more discouraged by any possible change in the quality or the level of player coming in. But I don't know. The one everyone goes to is Joe Cole.
Joe Cole's, and he's the one that cares the least about, you know, switching leagues.
Yeah, someone said it on Twitter and the other day. I don't, you know, not sure that Joe Cole is all that he cares all that much about two minor league leagues he's never heard of before he came here. Yeah. Like, Joe Cole didn't come here because of NASL. He didn't come here because of the Cosmos. He came here because whatever plan they sold him on. And his awareness, like he said, he was aware of the Rowdies name, and he's making a nice sum of money, and it's a 2-year deal with a club option for, he's having fun. He's moved his family here. He's bought a house.
I don't see. Okay, here's my thing: is if Joe Cole cared about American soccer league designations or the level of play, he wouldn't have left England.
He would have held out for MLS.
Yeah,
and someone would have signed him.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. Let's look at Steven Gerrard's season and let's look at Joe Cole's season.
That's a good comparison. So I don't know. At least for next year, I don't think we see major on the field changes.
I don't think so either. I mean, again, it's hard to say though, and this is the thing, because there's going to be an exodus of some players because deals are expiring, like Christoph and
right.
a few. So if, say, you lose Georgie, people are going to tie that to the fact that we're in USL, when it could just be contract negotiations and Georgie, you know, wants greener pastures or wants to try something else.
Right.
I mean, there's so much at play this offseason that you can't pin it on USL move. You have to look at everything. His contract is up, so like he's free to go wherever the heck he wants. I think Georgie Ristov stays.
Yeah, I do.
But, I think he's another one, you know, a foreign player that has fallen in love with the city and has his family in the city. And
right.
Probably as long as Stu Campbell wants him, or Bill Edwards want him back, he'll be back.
So do you think Stu Campbell's back?
Yeah, 100%.
Like at first, I said if we don't make the playoffs, there's going to be hell to pay. But now you're changing leagues. Not making the playoffs doesn't really matter at this point.
I think it does. We underperformed with with a very good squad, but I think that some of it was luck. Some of it was you know, bad refereeing, and some of it is just Stu's inability to adapt it sometimes. Like I made the joke today about, you know, Stu can barely make one substitute,
let alone 5.
Yeah. So I think he's got a year of learning under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep mostly the same squad and you address, again, maybe try to find an actual striker or 3 instead of having 2 bad strikers on the roster. I mean, Georgie Ristov was our savior.
11 goals.
Yeah, I mean, he was our savior up there. So maybe now you look, you see where our weakness is, you know, back line, you know, left back, striker, maybe left wing, or maybe you don't even need to. If PC's still here, you move him to the left wing and get an actual left back.
But you could changes at center back too, possibly.
Yeah, but you just address what we need and you move forward. And just this is it. I think if Stuart Campbell doesn't get it done in 2017, then he's out, and you can't blame Edwards at that point.
Yeah, and at this point, and with the way this league is going to be structured, I don't know that it's playoffs or else. I think it's playoffs, and you got to make a run.
Yeah, I don't think you can just qualify making playoffs when 8 teams in your conference make the playoffs.
Right, more than half. So
yeah,
um, I mean, if we're not in playoff position, I don't think he's going to make it through the whole season to begin with.
no. If we
and
start
probably
off,
shouldn't.
no, and you're in that, and especially if we give him the weapons again. I mean, I haven't watched USL, so I don't know, but I think we should beat at least we should be better than at least half our conference.
Well, and there's the argument that I make for keeping Stewart and keeping some of this roster together. Yeah, we underperformed last year in NASL, but bringing that kind of continuity into USL with the kind of preseason we're going to have, like that, I think is probably a good idea.
Yes, 100% yes. I think you just let it go, and I think you'll see. I mean, not gonna lie, Red Bulls 2 looked good.
What, 20 something wins, had 69 points on the season. Like that's and a lot of that goes to the scouting networks that some of these teams have, and I know Cardix mentioned that, and a couple other people have mentioned it, that they're able to go and get and identify players that NASL clubs couldn't with their scouting setups, and who knows what USL is, but
here, and this is my thing. I think Jason Bruzicchese mentioned it about why the independent clubs can't compete, but instead of trying to buy the Joe Coles, put that money into scouting. Start building a scouting department, even though you're second or third division. Start building that scouting department to try to find these kids before MLS can snatch them up and put them in the reserve team. Like the North America is a huge continent. And you can get scouts. I know it takes money, but that's where you invest. That's where the investment should be, because then you can find the youth and you can develop the youth and you can bring these guys up. I mean, that's what lower division soccer is anyway, isn't it? Like that's basically what it should be. So I think maybe instead of creating an arms race or it destroying independent clubs, I think it could actually motivate, and it should motivate these independent clubs to do scouting and development.
Well, especially if you actually are realizing some cost savings from this move, put that money into that kind of stuff. Like
right.
Plenty of opportunity, and we know. I mean, money has not been an issue for Bill Edwards with this team and with the stadium. Now, at what point does it become an issue? I don't know.
Money?
Yeah, now we've upgraded the stadium. We've brought in players like Joe Cole.
Only when people stop showing up. I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
Attendance has grown every year for us. I think
even 4%.
Yeah,
this year.
So, I mean, growth is still there. So until it stops growing, I think that's when you start worrying. If we see a massive drop in attendance, that's when costs become an issue.
Now, is that when you push for the stadium expansion to try and draw more people in by having a newer renovated stadium that maybe attracts more people?
No, you buy a new player with a big name, get butts and seats, and then you
all right. So any other questions you have that I didn't put in here?
No, I want to get started. I want this off season over already. I feel
know,
like
right?
It's a shot in the arm for me.
It's just going to be a short one.
Because I know this sounds weird, but bad. But it started to get the show. I mean, I love doing the podcast and everything, and I've had my own mental issues, but everything started to feel redundant. It was a draw, a loss. Everything felt like deja vu. Like we were everybody, the team, us, everybody's just going through the motions of the same
chances, didn't score, bad refereeing.
I felt like we were doing the same podcast every week, and it was getting droning on. And then this happened, and I feel rejuvenated again, and just in time for the off season, so we can then catch our breath. We can plan, do whatever, and we can come back into this USL season with hopefully some renewed energy and vigor, and not fall into the same boring routine that we had to deal with this NASL season.
Yeah, I agree. I felt I felt that way the last couple shows too. That's why I'm like, let's start bringing in some guests and interviewing them instead, because that's more interesting than us saying the same thing and plugging in a different team name every week. Real quick, we got a couple questions through Twitter, through Reddit, I know I even went to Reddit with this.
USL. I went to USL Reddit.
By the way, I feel nothing personal. I finally unsubscribed from NASL Reddit last night.
I'm about to do it right now.
On the air, breaking news. All right, so Adam in South Carolina, who's excited by this because there's a possibility of more road trips for him that he can go to with with Charleston, with Charlotte, and maybe if Carolina made the jump. Has a couple of questions. If the Rowdies were forced into having an affiliation with an MLS team, which one would we prefer? The only open one I know of is Minnesota, but let's just take all the teams in the league. Who would we be if we had to work with somebody? Who would you want to work with?
If I want to work with, I mean, I'm biased to a certain team from Ohio.
Yeah, could see that.
So I would take them. So I could do that.
Gonna be kind of weird. I would take Atlanta. It's close at least. The guys involved with them, Bocanegra and some of them, like those are good guys. I'm not a huge fan of Arthur Blank at all, but it could be interesting. It'd be fun to go up there and see what it was like.
Outside my bedroom door, there's a little place for like there's like an indent in the wall, like for a picture, and there's a picture hanging there, and it is a black and white. Well, it is the portrait of William T. Sherman, hanging outside my door. So screw Atlanta.
I can respect it, but hey, you've always wanted to go stay at my sister's house. Although I hate to let you down, haven't had anything official confirmed yet, but it appears as if she's back with her ex-husband.
Dumb move.
Well, no comment. Which USL team do you think might fold /move /pull an Austin Aztecs for the upcoming season? Per the
doing it though, but
yeah, they're dropping down to PDL, and he references Neil's podcast, but I'll let you go listen to that before you comment on it. Honestly, I don't know enough of the teams to make that call.
I think they're thriving for the most part outside of like.
The B teams all have for the most part attendance issues. It seems like,
but they got MLS money keeping them afloat.
Right. Yeah. They're truly in it for the development experience, not necessarily the getting competitive games and stuff like that. And yeah, it's good for them, but at the same time, I know some of the fans of the other teams and owners of the other teams aren't overjoyed with the situation. Because I think it probably impacts their attendance. I know Rochester had some issues last offseason before switching ownership, and I know there's some issues with the stadium there because it's the same one that Western New York Flash, I think, plays in, and they were like forced to go play on that baseball field one time.
Yeah, it was like smaller than like my living room,
a bowling alley sized pitch. Charlotte and Charleston seem to be doing okay. Richmond seemed to be doing okay, and these were ones that kind of they chose this level when there was the NASL USL schism to basically save themselves. Yeah, Wilmington's dropping down. Harrisburg City, I don't know for the development experience, not necessarily the getting competitive games and stuff like that. And yeah, it's good for them, but at the same time, I know some of the fans of the other teams and owners of the other teams aren't overjoyed with the situation because I think it probably impacts their attendance. I know Rochester had some issues last offseason before switching ownership, and I know there's some issues with the stadium there because it's the same one that Western New York Flash, I think, plays in, and they were like forced to go play on that baseball field one time.
Yeah, it was like smaller than like my living room,
a bowling alley sized pitch. Charlotte and Charleston seem to be doing okay. Richmond seemed to be doing okay, and these were ones that kind of they chose this level when there was the NASL USL schism to basically save themselves. Yeah, Wilmington's dropping down. Harrisburg City, I don't know. I hear about them sometimes listening to Howler's podcast because Bobby Warshaw plays for them. And kind of talk. The crowds aren't huge and everything, but they seem like they have their niche. I don't know much. I really don't know a ton about these teams other than we played Pittsburgh in Open Cup one time, and
I think
they have a couple of our former players.
Random idea here is I think after, I don't know when we're going to do another show. Maybe, well, obviously next week, but after that, I don't know. We should do some hardcore research and do like a USL primer show.
Or you start doing shows and have some of these guys from these other podcasts come on and like talk about their clubs and their markets and stuff and their challenges. We can start doing that. That could be our off-season stuff. possibly looking at the bottom of the Western Conference, Tulsa Roughnecks, which from everyone I hear is it's owned by there's a minor league baseball team. It's the same ownership owns them basically as a way to put people in the seats in the baseball stadium when baseball season's not going on. But it sounds like the attention they pay to it maybe isn't at the level that at least the fans want. And last year they won 5 out of 30 games, lost 21. Like that could be a negative 39 goal differential.
I mean, that's a team name that deserves a strong team behind
exactly. it. Like that's like a legacy old NASL kind of team. I think Arizona had some issues, but I think they changed ownership recently. St. Louis, I think, is going to rebound up from 8 wins out of 30 last year with the addition of Preki and stuff. And Ambersley was there, and some of the supporters groups I've at least chatted with online before. Like they seem like they've got a good situation, and it sounds like a new stadium might be in their future. So I think they'll stabilize and come up a little bit. OC Blues, it doesn't like there's been a lot of ownership changes if I recall. Like I think OC Blues changed hands recently. So I don't know. If I had to pick one, though, I would probably say Tulsa Roughnecks. Maybe the baseball owners just kind of get bored and get rid of it. Figure it's not worth the investment. Hopefully not, but it could be a possibility.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, again, it's a badass team name.
Yeah. Now, one question I got from a Louisville fan with the fun handle of @TomFoolery. Is FC Cincinnati's contention that number of attendees trumps team performance a valid contention?
What was that?
Is FC Cincinnati's contention that number of attendees trumps team performance a valid contention? Is it more important to draw a crowd than to win a game?
So is this the Orlando City we won the stands argument?
That seems to be now. I was added to a closed group on Facebook a while back of USL fans, and I haven't even posted in it yet. Dave and Tyler and some of them are in there now. But that kind of seems to be the common theme is everyone rips on Cincinnati for only caring about attendance. And I know one of their guys, one of the guys that came down here for the Open Cup game, because he's a Sarasota guy originally and came out to Shamrock with me the next night to watch a US game, and we're friends on Facebook, Twitter, and all that, and chat. So I mean, my personal opinion is always that results are the most important thing, and then everything else is from there. And I'm sure
win the stands, man. Win the stands.
I'd rather win the standings.
No, if you win the stands, that's all that matters.
Now I can see where maybe their fans are saying that the results are more important. I also know they went out in the first round of the playoffs, I believe, or maybe second round. I can't remember. But I know they didn't get as far as they were expecting to. But I mean, that's a team like they're the next one. They're having Garber in town for a hashtag MLS2 Cincy kind of dog and pony show. So to the front office, it might be that attendance is more important than results, because that's how they're pitching themselves to the league. I'm sure there's a difference of opinion with the fans, but I mean, we saw the same thing happen in NASL with Montreal in their last year.
I wasn't around then.
Like they were bottom. Like it had been announced before the season it was going to be their last year. They were going to MLS. They were bottom of the table all year long, and they were like, their fans were like, we don't care. We're going to MLS. We're still packing the stadium. This is before they even built their new stadium. But I mean, they were terrible. Like the club itself just basically cut players and cut costs and everything else in that last year to save money for buying MLS players going into the next year. I guess if you know that that's what your destination is going to be, maybe you're able to tell yourself that that's a worthwhile trade-off in the long run. I want to go to Al Lang and watch the Rowdies win. Like I honestly don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm also going to say the show's been an hour and a half.
I think that's all the questions that we had. That's all the Twitter ones. The Reddit ones had to do with kind of scouting and stuff, and we'll we kind of addressed that already. This is about over a half hour longer than we usually go. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to cut it off here and then post this audio out to our podcast feed later.
And if there's any other questions, we can get to them on Tuesday.
Yeah. tweet them to us. Put them on Reddit. I put up a link on there. We'll be back Tuesday night. We'll be back on the audio only version, I believe. You can find us on Radio St. Pete. You can go to our website. There's a little player right in there. You can listen to it.
Side note, just time out. It just popped in my head before. What if I hosted the call? Would your computer then still pump the audio through?
I think so.